Hi, Gwen and Margaret. This is me, Ma. I'm here with my fairy tale book, and I'm about to read Rapunzel. Once upon a time, there was a man and his wife who had long wished for a child. But the days passed, and the slow months and the years, and none were born to them. Now, at the back of the house was a little garden with rows of green cabbages, their leaves thin as rose petals, beans climbing on tall poles to show their scarlet blossoms, and more flowers than grew in the king's courtyard. But no one dared go near the garden, for it belonged to the powerful witch who cast spells to the right and to the left, so that all her neighbors were mortally afraid of her. One day, the wife was standing at her window, looking down at the garden. There she spied a bed in which grew the finest rampion she had ever seen. "What a salad that would make," she said to herself. It looked so fresh and cool. She longed for it both day and night. Her good husband offered to get her a fine, fat chicken to roast. "And what would a chicken, a goose, or a duck be to me," she said, "when it is only for rampion that I pine?" Her husband then brought her a pudding, bursting with raisins and with fruit. But she only wept and turned her head away. "And what is a pudding to me, though it be made of the finest meal and served on a gold plate, if I dream only of the rampion that grows over yonder garden?" When her husband saw how she became pale and thin, and how she wept both day and night, he said to himself, "Rather than that she should fall ill and perchance die, I will get her some rampion, come what may." When night came, he climbed the wall, and with the light of the moon for his only lantern, he picked a bowlful of rampion. His wife was so pleased that at once she ceased to weep. But when the rampion was gone, she again began to droop and sigh. A second time, her husband went secretly into the garden and brought her a heap of the fresh, cool leaves. The third time, having seen the old witch and her cat go off at sunset, he did not wait until night, but as soon as twilight fell, he again climbed the wall and went into the garden. He had just cut the last stalk when he felt a sudden deadly cold, and turning, he saw the old witch looking at him. Her eyes were like two frozen ponds, and her voice like the sound of icicles crackling. She cried out, "What are you doing in my garden, you who comes like a thief?" I don't know if that sounds like icicles crackling, but I'm doing my best. "Oh," said the poor man, "show some mercy upon me. It is for my wife that I take your rampion. Indeed, were it not for this, she would die." The old witch leaned toward him. "Take all the rampion you wish. In due time, a child will be born to your wife. It will go well with the child, but on her 12th birthday, she must be given to me." The poor man had no choice but to agree. He picked rampion every day. His wife grew rosy and happy, and when her child was born, never had anyone seen so beautiful a little girl. She probably wasn't as cute as you guys, though. The witch came to the christening and named her Rapunzel, which is another word for the rampion that grew in her garden. The witch was not a welcome guest, but all were so joyous because of the child that little thought was lost upon the old woman, or the strange name that she had given the infant. As the years went by, Rapunzel grew hourly more lovely to look upon. Her eyes were as bright as fire. Sorry about the phone. Where it burns blue above the embers, and her hair was the color of the harvest moon. When it was unbound, it fell behind her, a long court train of gold. All did indeed go well with the child, but on her 12th birthday the witch took her and shut her alone in a high, high tower in the center of a deep forest. There the underbrush grew so thickly and the briars were so sharp that even the bravest huntsman feared to go that way. Neither her father's threats nor her mother's pleading could touch the witch's frozen heart. The days passed, and the long, slow months, and the years, and Rapunzel was kept prisoner in the tower, which had neither door nor stairs, and only one high window. She saw no one but the witch. To pass the long days, Rapunzel sang. Her songs were sweet, but sadder than tears. At night, when the old witch came, she stood at the foot of the tower and called, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And after Rapunzel had done so, the witch, with her cat on her shoulder, caught hold of it and climbed up to the very top. Now one evening, a king's son who was hunting became separated from his companions. He neared the tower, listened to Rapunzel singing, and saw her let down her long hair as a ladder for the witch. When in the morrow he reached his castle, he could hear nothing but Rapunzel's song. He could see nothing, but remembered the golden gleam of her hair. At last, one day, he set out to find the tower again. When he reached it, he called, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel, thinking the witch had come home earlier than was her habit, undid her hair. It reached down the full height of the tower, a rippling golden waterfall against gray stones. Up climbed the prince. Rapunzel drew back in terror, but so kind was the king's son that she soon came to look for him each morning, to long for him during the dark hours of the night, and in time she took him for her husband. Here's the picture. "But," said Rapunzel, "how can I ever climb down?" Oops, did I miss something? Yeah. "But," said Rapunzel, sorry about that. "How can I ever climb down from my tower? Bring me, I pray you, a stout rope. Then can I reach the good soft earth which my foot has not touched for these many years." The prince rode away to do what she asked, for he could not wait another hour until they should be free and safely out of the woods. But it so happened that that very day the witch's cat grew hungry and mewed and clawed until the old woman had to return to the tower sooner than was her custom. Maybe that's another reason why I don't like cats. She saw the prince climb down his golden way and mount his horse. Before he was out of sight, she reached Rapunzel. She beat her cruelly, cut off her golden locks, dressed her in coarse cloth, and by black magic sent her to a desert place where none could find her. How bad is that? Then she fastened Rapunzel's golden hair firmly to the window lock and waited. Soon the prince was once more at the foot of the tower. He called, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." The old witch let Rapunzel's hair fall, but it was no longer warm and fragrant. It seemed cold, and the prince could hardly mount its icy strands. When he reached the top, the witch screamed at him, "The pretty singing bird has left her cage, you robber! You shall not have her, nor shall you look upon her face again." With her long claw-like nails, she scratched the poor prince until he could no longer see. He stumbled into the forest, bruised and quite blind. Because of his sad state, he did not return to his father's court, but like a beggar, stick in hand, wandered through the many lands, searching his lost bride. One day he heard a voice, clear and high, but sadder than a mourning dove's. He staggered toward the place from which it came. He was greeted by a glad cry and felt Rapunzel's tears of joy upon his cheeks. Their warmth brought back his sight. To him she seemed more beautiful than ever, veiled again by her golden hair. She led him to a rude bed, and there, sleeping as if in a royal cradle, were twin children, a boy and a girl, who had been born to them while Rapunzel waited alone in the desert. Together the prince and Rapunzel traveled to the prince's castle. His father, grown old, gave to his son both crown and scepter. The prince was now the king and Rapunzel queen beside him. The two children grew rosy and strong. Their favorite game was to play hide beneath the cloak of their mother's silken locks, and soon on high piping voices they were able to sing, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." I think they sang it happier than the witch, and probably cuter than what the prince did. I think I missed a picture too. Well, this is my first ever YouTube read to you book. I hope there are many more to come. I love you bunches. Good night.